Somewhere inside your body right now, a silent war is taking place, one you were never taught about in school, never explained by most doctors during a routine checkup, and yet it may determine how well you age, how strong your organs stay, and whether disease finds fertile ground to grow or starves before it ever gets the chance. This is not about a new medication or an extreme intervention. This is about a process your body performs every single day, one that can either be fed or starved depending on choices most people make without even realizing it. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how this hidden process works and why so many people over the age of 60 are unknowingly feeding the very thing they should be starving. Let's start with something most people have never heard explained clearly. Every tissue, every organ, every part of your body depends on a network of blood vessels to survive, delivering oxygen and nutrients to keep cells alive and functioning. This network is not fixed. It is constantly being built, repaired, and in some cases, wrongly expanded. The process behind this is called angiogenesis, the formation of new blood vessels, and it is one of the most quietly powerful systems in the entire human body. When it works correctly, it heals wounds, supports healthy organs, and keeps tissue alive and functioning well into old age. But when this system becomes imbalanced, it can do the opposite, feeding abnormal cell growth by supplying it with the very blood flow it needs to survive and spread. Here's where this becomes personal. Think about someone you know who developed a serious illness later in life, seemingly out of nowhere, despite looking healthy on the surface for years beforehand. In many cases, the visible signs of disease are the last thing to appear, not the first. Long before any noticeable symptom, abnormal cells may already be present in the body, microscopic and dormant, essentially harmless, unless they manage to recruit a blood supply of their own. Without that blood flow, these cells often remain small, inactive, and unable to cause real harm. This single detail changes the entire conversation around disease prevention because it suggests the difference between staying healthy and becoming seriously ill may come down to whether or not this abnormal blood vessel growth is allowed to happen in the first place. Stay with me because in less than a minute I'm going to explain exactly what tips that balance one way or the other. Now here is something that should genuinely make you pause. Researchers have identified specific foods and lifestyle patterns that appear to influence this exact process, either by supporting healthy blood vessel formation where it's needed or by suppressing the abnormal kind that feeds disease. This is not a fringe theory. It has been studied for decades in some of the most respected research institutions in the world, and it has quietly reshaped how scientists think about the relationship between food, aging, and long-term disease risk. And yet, most people over the age of 65 have never heard a single word about it from their own doctor. Let's talk about why this matters so much specifically for seniors. As we age, the body's regulatory systems, including the one responsible for controlling blood vessel growth, naturally become less precise. This does not mean disease becomes inevitable. It means the margin for error becomes smaller, and the choices we make daily, what we eat, how we move, how well we sleep, begin to carry more weight than they did decades earlier. Think of it like a thermostat that used to correct itself instantly, but now takes a little longer to respond. The system still works, but it needs more support to stay balanced, and that support largely comes from outside, from the environment we create through our daily habits. Here is something worth sitting with for a moment. Certain foods have been studied specifically for their ability to inhibit the abnormal blood vessel growth associated with disease progression, without harming the healthy blood vessels your organs depend on every day. Foods like tomatoes containing a compound called lycopene have shown this kind of selective effect in research settings. Green tea, dark leafy greens, and certain berries have demonstrated similar properties, essentially acting like a natural filter, encouraging healthy repair while discouraging the abnormal growth that allows disease to take hold and spread. This is not about any single miracle ingredient. It is about a consistent, cumulative pattern of eating that quietly shifts the balance in your favor day after day, year after year. Think about your own plate over the last week, not in a critical way, but honestly. How many meals included any of these foods in a meaningful, consistent way rather than as an occasional afterthought? For most people, myself included at times, the honest answer is fewer than we would like to admit. And that gap between what our bodies actually need to maintain this delicate internal balance and what most of us consume on a daily basis is exactly where so much preventable decline quietly takes root. Here is the part that should change how you think about this entirely. This is not just about preventing one specific disease. The same blood vessel network responsible for feeding abnormal growth is also responsible for delivering oxygen to your brain, your heart, your skin, and every organ that keeps you feeling strong and capable as you age. This means the same daily choices that help starve disease are often the very same choices that help your body stay sharp, energized, and resilient well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. It is not two separate goals. It is one interconnected system, working for you or quietly against you, based on the same set of daily decisions. This is exactly why so many people feel blindsided later in life. They assume that as long as they feel fine, everything happening inside their body must be fine as well. But this process, the growth or suppression of new blood vessels, often unfolds silently for years, long before any symptom becomes visible. By the time something is noticeable, the underlying pattern has often been building for a very long time. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to hand you back a level of control most people never realized they had, because if this process can be influenced, even partially through daily choices, that means the outcome is not entirely fixed. It is, at least in part, something you can actively shape. None of this requires a complete overhaul of your life overnight. It requires consistency, awareness, and a willingness to understand your body a little differently than you were taught to. Small, repeated choices made day after day are what actually shift this internal balance over time, far more than any single dramatic change ever could. The goal is not perfection. The goal is giving your body's natural systems the support they need to keep doing what they were designed to do, protecting you, repairing you, and keeping disease from finding the blood supply it needs to survive. So here's my question for you. Before watching this, had you ever heard of angiogenesis? Or is this the first time you're learning that something this powerful has been happening inside your body your entire life without you knowing? Let me know in the comments, because I think a lot of people watching right now are discovering this for the very first time. And I would love to know how this changes the way you think about your next meal.